Robotics always need not be a humanoid robot as we have discussed before. It can be any device that works automatically as desired. Here, we are going to assemble a robot using sensors and motors but no program. This will be a line following wheeled car.
The kit contains all the required material for that. This is the printed circuit board which we are going to use, and this has got the battery compartment here, and the other components are to be mounted here. In fact, first one has to assemble all the components prior to mounting the motors and the battery compartment. The motor, as we have understood, the motor will be mounted at this side, two motors, and the components will be soldered at this side. They will be soldered at these points, and whereas the mounting will take place at these points. Like what we have, like for example, if you want to take a switch, there is a switch, and you want to put the switch, there is a slot for the switch. We put the switch like this, and there is a IC socket. We have to first notice the notch. There is a notch here, and we have to put the IC socket as per the IC socket arrangement like this, and that's how we have to proceed with all the other components as per the circuit, as per the information, as per the writing written here. We have to proceed in those manner. This is the plain PCB before mounting. The motor will come here, like this is the motor. There are two motors. They will come precisely here as we indicated here, this way, one this way and the other this way. The wheels will be mounted before it is mounted there. So the wheels will come here. There are certain slots for the wheel which will go like this. The wheels will go like this. The motor has connections points at this place and this place, the connection points. So the connection points are to be soldered as required. Then after that, all these components which we will be using will be mounted onto them. These are the components while we open the packet. These are two transistors, there are two electrolytic capacitors. Then we have the IC socket, the IC required for it, integrated circuit. There's a switch and the button for that, and then we have variable resistors and LDR, two LDRs, four light emitting diode LEDs, some jumper wires, and the resistors required, with their values being written here to avoid confusion. First place components of lowest height. The resistance being the lowest height, first all the resistors are put. At the bottom side, bend all the legs so that the components do not fall while you try soldering. Then we take a soldering iron, then some solder, and whatever we are done, we will start doing the soldering. And that soldering, we do it this way. First tip the pin, and then the process is first heat, then apply, then remove. This is the process of soldering. First hit the point, apply solder, and then remove. It should look very clean. That's the only process that one has to follow. Some solder should be here. There is some solder here. Heat it first with that solder. Hit the spot. Take it for 2-3 seconds. Then apply the solder. Then remove. This is the process we have to follow. First, second, third, fourth. I repeat, first, second, third, fourth. And these are the other items while you open the packet. There are two wheels for the motors, two motors, hardware nut bolt to mount them onto the printed circuit board that we had seen, this printed circuit board. And then the battery compartment, there are two AA size battery will be given here for 3-volt operation. And finally, we will assemble it. For fixing the motor and the wheels, take the motor and one wheel, one flathead small screw, two long screws, bolts, and one aluminium piece. And then we assemble that. First of all, we put these two and then we try to insert it from this side. Make sure that these two are at the bottom side, this way. Tighten these two, the other one, then the wheel. There is a slot here, so you have to adjust to the slot and then insert it, press it, goes. There will be self-threading screw, this screw, not this screw. This screw will be used for some battery compartment. This screw, the self-threading screw they call it, and it has to go here, and then we tighten it. This is how the motor assembly is made. After that, the assembly has to be done on the printed circuit board. The motor has to be mounted on the motor side. This is the motor side, this is the component side. And for the motor side, so we have to put the motor this way, and we have to take two small screws, this side two small screws, and put it from here one here, and which goes to this, tighten, similarly the other one, this is how it is tightened. We have to tighten, and then this is the final mounting for one motor. Similarly for the other motor, then this one has to be mounted with the caster wheel. The caster wheel is actually a small arrangement like this. This one is the caster wheel. Since it has a thicker knot, there's a bit thicker knot, this one, so it has to first go in the other side on the of the motor side. This way it has come, the motor side, it has to come this way, and then there's a bigger knot which has to be tightened. This is tightened, and then this is mounted. You have to tighten this also. Now this looks like this, right? And then the motor has to be fitted as we have discussed, and then the battery compartment is this. The battery compartment has to go here with the terminals to be connected. The battery terminal, it has to be connected here. The battery terminal connection will go here, so better we'll keep it this side. Okay, we keep it in a convenient position that the connection are to be given here. So what we do is, then the flathead screws. We have flathead screws. Those flathead screws will be used for mounting these are the flathead screws. Their head is flat, so that's why they call flathead screws. And this has to go from here, and then here, and then tighten the knot here, and tighten the knot here. That's how the battery compartment will be fixed. After fully assembled, the board looks like this. The other side looks like this, where we have the LEDs, as we see, the LEDs and the caster, as you can see. And this is how the alignment of the rear side, where the motor will come. It might so happen that one wheel rotates this way and the other wheel rotates this way. But you can see here, this rotates in one direction, whereas this rotates in another direction. In that case, what you have to do is, you have to replace the connections in the right direction. Like for example, if this is rotating in this way, that means this is the correct direction. So this has to be, if this is rotating in this way, that means this is the correct direction. So this has to be interchanged. So what we do is, we interchange this from here to here. Now after reversing the connection of one motor, what we find, both of them are rotating in that direction. Now this one is also rotating in this direction, this one is also rotating in this direction, meaning that when you turn it this side, it will move in the forward direction. So this is what is the arrangement that one has to make before putting it into operation, final operation. We have drawn a path like this using a black pen, and then while we try to put it, and we'll find how it moves. This is how it moves in the direction.